Okay, we are live and welcome to my beautiful people on this gaming topic. We are here to discuss and talk about the PlayStation Showcase. Is going to be coming up on Wednesday, May 24th at 1 p.m. Pacific time. For me, I live on the East Coast, so it's going to be 4 p.m., but unfortunately, I cannot do a live reaction to it because, I got work and bills. I got to right, I got a job, you know what I'm saying? Um, you know, so I'm going to be at work doing what I got to do. What I will do is when I get home, I'm going to make sure I have the thumbnail and everything ready to go and stuff, and we'll do like a after live stream post thing. So I'm not going to be on YouTube all day. I'm not going to look at anything um at all. I'm going to have my podcast during the night. I'm not going on YouTube. I'm just going to be playing music, and then when I get home, I'm going to just jump on YouTube, and I'm just going to be clicking on the live stream, whatever, the post live stream of the PlayStation Showcase, and then we'll watch it together live that night, and you get all of my reactions and everything else, and see, whether or not that Sony hit it out the park, or this is going to be one of those it's gonna be dog water. I hope it's not dog water. I hope it's not. I really hope so. Is not the case. And I do apologize too that I usually will have like a live stream intro and outro. I'm just going straight in, because I have OBS update, and it kind of fucked up some of my live stream stuff and all my stuff that I needed to put together and stuff. So I do apologize for that. I don't mean to do that. I'm probably gonna work on it this coming week. So that's gonna be all together and clean up and stuff. But for right now, I'm just gonna jump straight on in here. And if you haven't read the title, we're gonna be talking about the my predictions, discussions around the PlayStation Showcase. But before we get into that, I'm gonna talk about the state of PlayStation itself. So Sony, Jim Ryan, some good and bad, and what do I look at in terms of PlayStation, like what kind of standards I hold PlayStation, and what do I hold them accountable for. So this has nothing to do with any of those those console war bullshits, because it's just a lot of people are clickbaiting, e-beggars, and dick riding on another YouTuber and their reaction. This is what YouTube does. They just doing it for money. They're just doing it for y'all views and clicks, and getting y'all riled up. This is a straightforward, from a real gamer perspective, because I play on PC gaming now, and during the whole course of my gaming, career, well, not career, but gaming journey, that I went on from Super Nintendo, and then after that was the PlayStation 2. After PlayStation 2 was 360, the Xbox One and 1S, and then after that I decided to kind of move on to PC gaming and leave everything else behind. So I don't have no ties with PlayStation. I don't even have a PlayStation account. Like, I don't even have an account with them. That's how I have no affiliations with PlayStation, like today, whatever. I don't have no affiliation with PlayStation because I stopped after PlayStation 2. And but I still keep an eye on PlayStation. I still want to see what they're doing and how they're doing, and seeing if they are pushing that next generation gaming. Because when I look at PlayStation as a whole, and what I hold them up to a standard, for me personally, it would be towards like pushing that next generation gaming, pushing the next generation graphics. That's what I like to see, and I hold PlayStation to that level and to that accountability, because I hold them to that. So again, I'm not with the whole fanboys and pony tears and all this bullshit and Xbox fanny panties. I don't give a fuck about either of them. I just care about what games are they putting out, and are these games are a good value for me, and are they fun games to play? That's ultimately that's what a gamer should be about. It's about value about the games and what you're playing, and are you getting that good value? Are you having fun? Are you enjoying playing the games? That's what matters to me at the end of the day. You know, I don't give a fuck about sales numbers, sales figures, and stuff like that. We could talk about it, but in terms of number and percentages and all that shit, a lot of people on here can talk a lot of shit like that, but most of these people are not a fucking accountants. They're not financially, whatever, advisor, whatever. So a lot of people could just make up some clown numbers. And we see it a lot of times with these goofy clowns of these Sony ponies and on YouTube, which you already know, like Dreamcast guy, MBG, Saltiest Gaming. Those are just PlayStation clowns. They don't know about PlayStation from an outside perspective. So that's where I'm going to give it to you. And I'm going to point out a lot of good things, and I'm going to point out some bad things. What they're doing, which is, personally to me, being on PC gaming, right, for a good while, I will tell you right now, and to be honest, I haven't brought not one PlayStation title game at all. Even if it was on sale or not on sale on Steam, I haven't brought one PlayStation game. That tells you that I'm not somebody that just gonna jump on the bandwagon like everyone else. I do be particular about my games. I do point stuff out. I do know what I like and what I enjoy. And if you like that game, I by all means, I never sit here and knock anybody down. If you enjoy Horizon Forbidden West, go and play it. If you enjoy God of War, the new modern God of War game, hey, go and play it. It's not a bad game, but for me, I didn't play it because it's just not in my bag. It's just not in my bag. Sorry. And it's the same thing goes with Xbox games. I don't buy every Xbox game or play it like Grounded or Sea of Thieves. I really can care less about those games, or even Hi-Fi Rush. I can care less about that. It's not for me. It's a great game. Is it a great game? Yes, it is. But it's not in my bag. You know what I'm saying? It's just not in my bag. So I'm speaking from my perspective. So bear with me. But yes, we have the PlayStation Showcase. It is going to be live on Wednesday, May 24th, 1 p.m. Pacific. For me, it's going to be 4 p.m. I'll be at work. But I will do a live stream aftermath. So we are getting new IPs, which I'm hopefully that is the case. Hopefully we are getting some new IPs, and they're going to be doing some PlayStation VR2. Now, that is going to be a lot of work because if you haven't heard, which we're going to go through some articles and stuff, PlayStation VR2 is kind of not, selling as well as they should be doing, but we'll see what happens. But anyway, into this PlayStation.Blog, if you read it here, they tell you about stuff. We got PlayStation Studios, and as well as spellbinding games from third-party partners and indie creators. So we do got indie creators, third-party, and they said it might be a little bit over an hour. So we'll see. Hopefully they will bring out some surprises and stuff like that. But I wanted to do the discussion first, and then we'll do predictions towards the end of this. So, like I was saying before, I hope PlayStation and the PlayStation brand, Sony, Jim Ryan, to a higher standard, into a higher level. If you are a market leader, I'm expecting new IPs and pushing next generation gaming. And what I mean by next generation gaming, well, we can go back to the PlayStation 4 generation if you didn't remember, but like Drive Club, right, on the PlayStation 4, it started on PlayStation 4 and it died on PlayStation 4, which is so sad to see Drive Club to come in and then just walk out, and it just didn't do so well and stuff. And that right there hurts me because again, it's trying to do a new IP and something different than trying to be the same old GT7 or GT whatever, Gran Turismo. And that's what I'm sitting here saying, like, I'm expecting new IPs. And then when I'm also talking about like pushing that next generation gaming experience, like for example, like the Order of 1886 from Ready at Dawn, I think that game still to this day for me is the definition of what PlayStation should be striving for every single day out of their studios. In terms of like the Order of 1886 was beautiful cinematic game I've ever seen in my life. That's something that I will love to see and play on a PC if they ever get a chance to. I will mostly glad to pay for it and just play it with the highest crank the graphics up to the highest settings, put the fidelity on. Oh my god, like that's something I can enjoy, because for me, when I saw that game and knowing a little bit of the plot and the story plots and stuff like that, this to me was pushing that next generation gaming experience, because not only it was the graphics, right? The graphics looks incredible, but it was also the storytelling. The storytelling was something that intrigued me the most out of any like first party studio title from Sony ever. Like it was it was so interesting, that to the fact that if this was a Netflix show or even like a movie, I will go out and see this shit day one. Like that's how interesting is something that captured me. Again, it may not be in your bag, but you can't lie that what they did to that game was pushing that next generation experience and pushing that storytelling, because it wasn't some cut and dry stuff. It was like literally got that mix of that gray area where, they're not all bad, but they're not all good either, on both sides. Like no matter if it's like the vampires, the werewolf, and the protectors, or the royal guard, if you could say, like there's no like good or bad. It's like there's a gray area, but there's reasons why, and there's certain things that why they do this. And it's so good, it's so interesting, like, and it's so sad to see it to we're not going to get another sequel, or and it just really is sad. And that right there is maybe one of the reasons why I cannot go back and play on a PlayStation, because I don't want to play a game that has this really great experience and I love it to death, and I'm waiting for another sequel out of it. And again, it may not be perfect. It may not be a 10 out of 10. It may be not your type of game. But seeing it actually to release it and actually get to try it and play it, it's like a forever joy. It's like, oh, yes, like I want this. I want more of this. And then when you see them say, hey, we're closing out this studio, we're not doing this anymore, we're not doing this, that breaks my heart. For real, that really hurts me. And it just makes me just don't want to get a PlayStation 5 because of those reasons, because I don't want to be invested in, no matter what. It doesn't matter, even on Xbox or even on PlayStation. I don't want to be invested in something and then it'll just not come true, or it's just not going to come out. But for what they did, right? Like now, like the gaming lineup right now, what I see is like, again, like their IPs and stuff like that are good, and they're still interesting. There's a few games that I do want to play, like again, Ghost of Tsushima. That's something I want to play. Bloodborne, if it ever comes out to PC, that's something that I do want to play, when it do. But I'm just gonna make this clear, because I know a lot of people might be typing on there, oh, you see, you're port begging. I'm not begging for nothing. If Sony and PlayStation don't want to put those titles onto the PC, I'm not fucking crying about it. It is what it is, and I'm just moving the fuck on. And there's plenty other games that I'm playing, so I'm not missing out, or I'm not like, oh my god, like it's the end of the world for me. It's just not, you know. If I wanted to play something else, I got plenty of other games to do so. So I I can care less. You get what I'm saying? I can care less. Like, you know, hey, if you got it on there, play it, and you're enjoying it, great, good for you, and I'm happy for you. I want you to enjoy games and play games like that. But again, I'm not crying about or I'm not begging for it to be on PC. Like, oh my god, please, like, put it on PC. Like, no, I don't care. Like, it is what it is. I'm letting that shit go. If they ever do, great. If they don't, fine. But they do have games and IPs that do hold a higher quality and a higher standards. So I do appreciate that, you know, PlayStation is bringing that AAA blockbuster cinematic experience, which is great. You know, right? If you like those games, you're gonna get it. You got Spider-Man, you got again the God of War series, you got Horizon Zero Dawn, Ghost of Tsushima, you got, I know, Death Stranding. So there's some games on there that you are enjoying and playing and having a great time, right? No big deal. And they got some DLC like I think it was Horizon Burning Shores DLC, Horizon Forbidden West Burning Shore DLC that came out not too long ago. So people are enjoying that and playing that a lot, right? God of War was from last year. You know, people are still playing some God of War this year. So hey, right? You know, they're playing some games, right? They're pretty much okay, right? So, and the second thing I can sit here and say that's what's good about PlayStation is their hardware is pretty much really good and pretty much in good stuff, and they added some features, something new. They always evolving their controllers. They're adding in features, their hardware stuff. The VR2, it looks amazing, and it's got way better quality than that Facebook Oculus bullshit, or the Meta Quest, Oculus Quest, whatever the fuck 2. Like the PlayStation VR 2 is like leagues better than that for only 550. So, right, I can give credit for that. I think they did a fantastic job with some of the hardware stuff that they do. But from that point on, that's only of the good things that I can sit here and say about PlayStation. And then here comes all the bad stuff, you know, about it. Um, you know, like again, we could talk about the scalping situation. Now again, I'm not putting out some clown numbers and all this stuff because really, let's be honest here, you're not a financial advisor. I'm not an accountant. You know what I'm saying? And then all these goofy clowns, no matter what side, I don't give a fuck if it's on Xbox podcast, a MBG podcast, I don't give a fuck who it is. These are just clowns just being clowns, and they're just putting out clown numbers. We don't know exactly the numbers or whatever. But what we could sit here and say is the fact that during the scalping, back when I think when PlayStation first, like, you know, launched, they had trouble with, you know, well, basically gamers like myself wants to get their hands on a PlayStation 5, but they couldn't get it. And scalpers was scalping it up, got a whole box full of it, and, you know, basically sitting on it and trying to resell it for $700 to $800 more than what the retail price was only like what, $450 and $500. So, you know, it was crazy. So, and I know a lot of these clowns out there, and again, if we were talking about Puerto Rock will say like, oh, this is great, PlayStation is selling this and that, it's all good in the hood, you know. It's but let's put it realistically speaking, that a scalper is only going to open up one of the PlayStations. They're not going to open up every single PlayStation 5 that they scalp. They're not doing that. They're not doing it. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to go in their house and just open up every PlayStation 5 and put it on every TV in their house. Like, whether or not they have 100, 200, 300 PlayStation 5 boxes with all those consoles inside of there, they're not going to fucking do that. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to do that. Their job is just to resell it for a higher price during those 2 years. But it was rough because even though that it was selling well, right? I'm not giving out no numbers. It was selling, right? PlayStation 5 was selling the console itself. But the problem is that Sony was not making the money from software and from software sales. So that means like including like buying $70 games, buying other DLC and other stuff. So they wasn't getting the profit. They was getting profit in hardware, but people wasn't playing on it. So imagine if one scalper, right, has like 200 boxes and the scalper only just open up one box to have a PlayStation 5 and the rest is just sitting there collecting dust or being resell. That's 199 PlayStations that are sitting there not being sold to gamers, and they're not buying any games for $70. They're not paying for anything. They're not paying for, PS Plus subscription service or whatever. So they're losing money on there too, because you know what I'm saying? They still got to stick with their PlayStation 4 before they even start upgrading or thinking about a PlayStation 5. And that's what happens. And that it was not good. It was horrible. Trust me, it was more easier to walk in the store to get an Xbox than you would even getting a PlayStation. Hell, it was way more easier to walk in the store. You can get a gaming PC or a gaming laptop a lot more easier than you would to even get both of those consoles, Xbox or even a PlayStation 5. It didn't matter. It was that much more easier to get than you would to get those two consoles. So it was rough for the past 2 fucking years for a lot of people, Now, with the whole demand and stuff, they're eating this, they're not doing so good right now. But those past 2 years during those pandemic, it was very rough. Prices was getting out of control, right? And again, moving along, like now with the whole inflation going around the world, US, UK, Europe, a lot of these different countries, there are inflations out there, right? And price hikes and stuff like that. And now, games are starting to become even more expensive, right? We went from 60 to 70. I wouldn't be too surprised that the next generation gaming console, like the PlayStation 6 and the next Xbox, I wouldn't be sitting here too surprised that those games could be costing anywhere up to $80 or even $90. Like, it would be insane. And then we can see right here on this game article that these PlayStation data suggests that $70 games are resulting in fewer sales. So this is just a double whammy where you are getting the the price hikes, if I'm not mistaken. I'm trying to see, where was the price hikes? Okay, yep, right here. So, and then you're getting that double whammy where you're getting those the PS5 increase in the market globally with the price hikes and stuff like that. So the console costs more everywhere else except for the US. But secretly in the US, they was costing higher anyway because they added in the game with it. And they'll just charge you like an extra 20, 30 more bucks, whatever, for whatever PlayStation. So they're getting you, even though they may not announce it for the US, but they was getting you with that. You know what I'm saying? And you're getting the price hikes there, and now PlayStation with the $70 is just resulting in fewer sales, which is not surprising. since Sony started it, Sony said, hey, we put $70 and everybody follows suit. And a lot of people are just not running out there buying it, which is not surprising at all. But again, going back to, those PlayStation clowns and those ponies, they sitting here galloping and saying, hey, the consoles are selling and people are buying $70 games and buying first party games. Like, they're not doing it. They're not doing it. And trust me, like, and I totally understand, because, like, again, a lot of people, like, you may not understand this, but when we're talking about a $70 game, right? Even though, like, you could sit here and say there might be one or two games that's worth $70 to you. You might say, hey, Ghost of Tsushima, for me, worth $70. I can sit here and say, okay, you got that, right? I can sit here and say, okay, like, I could get that. But then if somebody says, like, oh, hey, but this game over here worth $70, like GT7, and they'll be like, are you no? You sure about that? I don't think so. So a lot of people are just, like, not getting these games because it's just the value proposition that what Sony has put themselves in, or basically put themselves in the corner, is because that, one, these $70 games from PlayStation are cinematic blockbuster experience, single player, right? These are single player cinematic blockbuster experience. There is no multiplayer attached to it. There is very little modes. Like, let's say, for example, like, people went out and brought God of War for $70, and they probably had this really great, amazing experience, right? But for a lot of other people, they say, hey, you want to get that new God of War game? And they're like, $70. It's a very hard pill to swallow and say, I don't want to play that. Like, I know the game looks good, but what do they got for me in terms of value? Like, what that game is going to offer me at the end of that gameplay, or the end of it. A lot of times it's just one of those one and done games. You have this really great and amazing experience, but it's not the type of game where you could just sit back and relax and just play the game and chill at your fucking leisure, right? And say, oh, I could play this as many times if I want to. And I know a lot of people might say, oh, that's like saying about, like, Elder Scrolls. Like, well, you could say that, but there's also games like that's not even hitting the high bar mark, and it's just got good replay value. For example, I think a lot of people don't want me to say this, but let's just say, I'm going on Steam, right? And I wanted to play a game that's, like, let's say if it was $70, right? I will sit here and say, like, a game that's not interesting, it would be like this, like like the Warrior Ultra series, Ultria 4, whatever, from, whatever, from the makers from Dynasty Warrior and stuff like that. This may be a game that may not appeal for everyone, and they may sit there and say this is boring or repetitive. To me, I find replay value because I get to just play and just be a beat 'em up and turn off my brain. I just want to go through levels, make my own little crew, and just go around fucking shit up, and you could find a replay value for that. But then it'd be hard to swallow when you're talking about, like, like a Metroid series. Like, let's say not Metroid Exodus, because it has more open space environment, but, like, let's say Metroid 2023, the Redux one. That's more of a linear game, and you having that linear experience, like, you're going through corridors and stuff like that. You're beating the game from beginning to end, and then you're just going back and replaying it, whether it's maybe like higher difficulties or whatever, or a nightmare mode or a ranger mode, and that's it, and then they charging you for $70, and that's where a lot of people are like, well, these are the only modes that I'm getting, and I might get a little piece of DLC, but is worth $70 for a lot of people right now? Is a no. Like they're not going to pay for that type of experience, and that's what Sony has now with their titles. Like that's what they got going on right now. Who was to go to Sony, right? Oh no, or sorry, I don't know how to get to the PlayStation. Uh, if I can get to the PlayStation, I'm not sure. Or let's just put God of War. Let's just go to God of War, and then we can go right here. Okay, so like again, like these costs, again, like I'm on PC is a little bit cheaper, but let's say if this was like $70, right? And then you want me to say, oh, you play The Last of Us on PC Part 1, $70. Like, okay, so I'm gonna get this great cinematic gameplay experience for $70. Let's just say if it was $70, right? I don't care if it was 60, but for me, let's just say if it was, I'm gonna sit there and say, is it worth getting this? And the answer is no, because they used to have a multiplayer component, right? And they just took it out. That would have worth my valuable purchase because they're adding in that multiplayer experience that they used to have on The Last of Us Part 1. What I'm saying, they're giving me some value there. They're giving me something that, hey, when you do finish this gameplay experience, and if you want to try the multiplayer that we got from this remake, hey, that's going to give you a little teaser. That's going to give you a little something to look forward towards, like factions, the online live service faction multiplayer game. That's going to give me something that value of like, hey, I should go get me The Last of Us Part 1 because they have the multiplayer component, and it's going to lead me towards, hey, they're going to have that faction whatever in their PlayStation showcase. It's going to give me some valuable, that value that is worth my time playing. But since they removed it, and I'm only going to play the single player experience, what else I'm going to do? Dress up Ellie? Like, what is that going to do to me, right? Dressing up Ellie and dressing up Joel ain't going to do shit for me, right? And what else? Like they added in a speed run mode. I don't care about a speed run mode. I'm not a speed runner, so it's not for me. It may be for someone else, but it's not for me. But even if they did have a speed run, they had that. Well, they didn't have that mode, but they've been doing speed runs from even the original Last of Us, even the Last of Us remaster. They have already done and completed speed runs for it. So there's that, and what else? And they added the DLC with it together. Okay, but if that's about it, then I don't know what else I can tell you. Is this worth $70 for me? I don't think so. And that's what a lot of people are asking that question: is what things that I can do after this single player gameplay experience. You know what I'm saying? Like Spider-Man might be worth $70 for some people because Spider-Man is an open world environment. You can do what you want to do. So after if you beat the main quest, you want to do side quests, you want to do other things, you can. So that's not an issue, right? There's stuff you can do, you can go where, but after a while you might feel like, okay, I did everything in this game, what else can I do? What I'm saying? It goes back to answering that question: is this game worth my time paying for $70? You know what I'm saying? Like even an Uncharted Lost Legacy collection, is that worth my time? So there's certain games you got to come to question and say, is this is worth it? Is this is worth it? Is this not worth it? Do I see myself playing these games? Do I don't see myself playing these games? And they only got 11 games so far. So it's not something that, I'm going to just jump on PlayStation and start riding the bandwagon. It's just not, it's not there. So I'm just throwing it out there. It's, be expecting that it's not just only like, and again, it's not just only PlayStation, it's also Xbox as well. But again, talking about PlayStation here, I think it's more of a bigger issue with them than it is on Xbox. You thought Xbox has an issue with that? I promise you, PlayStation has a much more bigger issue because, again, they're a single player blockbuster cinematic game. And also, that also leads to the other problem too with this is not only that is the is the like the game modes with value that they have towards these blockbuster cinematic games, but it's also in terms of the lack of variety of games. Like in comparison to Xbox, I feel like you have more fun to play on the Xbox games than you would on PlayStation. Hear me out on this. Hear me out. Before you start typing in the keyboards, I'll put out an example. Let's say we was talking about Forza Horizon 5, right? That came out, I think it was 2021 or 2022. I think it was 2021. So Forza Horizon 5 versus GT7, and let's say both games was like $70, like straight up $70, right? Now, for me, right, if I wanted to pick a game that's going to be worth my time for a long time, which game do you think I'm going to pick? I'm going to pick Forza Horizon 5 because there's a number of reasons. One, that game is an open world game. You could do whatever you want to do, and they don't hold your hands, and you could pick whatever car right off the lot. And you just run, even just winning a few races, or even just doing like a bunch of like single player. I just want to race around the track with some AI, put some difficulty up, get more credits, and then you can buy the car that you want to buy. It doesn't take that long to do. But then when you look at GT7, that's again is a totally different game. But it should be able to bring that same type of fun and freedom that you want to do in that game, but it's not. It's a track-based focused game, and they got you in the career mode at a goddamn cafe, and it looks like even a mobile port. The whole screen looks like the whole screen when you boot it up is a fucking mobile game port. And on top of that, to throw insult to injury, your starting car, you could only pick out of these three cars, these three slow ass vehicles. You can't get any other vehicle at all from the beginning because they don't want you. You know what I'm saying? They don't want you to. So you gotta pick a Honda Fiat and something else. I don't know what it is. But let's just say the Honda Fit. And any other car on that list, you can't pick. And you're at a cafe trying to win three of these cars, and then you gotta move on to the next cafe menu, win three cars, whatever. And you're starting off the slowest fucking vehicle in the game. And there's no like racing career mode. There's none of that. I'm like, where's the career mode? Where's like a racing career mode or anything like? There is none. You're just doing the same bullshit in the cafe. With just whatever these cars, and this is what you gotta pick, this is what you gotta do. I'm like, are we fucking serious right now? Are we fucking serious? It's literally 2023. And you're in, it's like insult. That's an insult, and that's a slap in the face to me. And that's a slap in the face for a lot of gamers that knows how to drive, that been racing for a long time. And I've been racing for a long time. And that's a fact. If you don't believe me, you can go and watch the live stream when I did that Forza Horizon 5 Adventure DLC, and you could see my driving in that shit. I may made mistakes, but if I really drive like pretty damn good and I balance my cars the way it should be, where I'm got grip and drift both at the same time. So I'm making sure that I'm keeping my car well balanced, and I drive damn near good. So I'm not like wall sliding, hitting shit, and I'm not trying to do wall slide tricks and wall riding all the way fucking through. I don't fucking do that. I really fucking don't, and I hate doing it. And if I do hit a wall and I do hit some shit, I restart that whole fucking thing again. I don't want to fucking use walls and hit shit. And if I didn't do it good the first time around, I go back and try to retry to do it better the second time or the third time around. That's how much that I'm good at driving, and I want to stay good like that. But playing GT7 will be like a slap in the face because I'm not here to drive a slow fucking vehicle. What kind of fun am I having fun with that? I'm not having fun. And then they want me to go online and play online, and then I gotta grind for so much credits just so I can get this one car. I have to grind hours on the same track, on the same bullshit, just so I can get this particular car, the high-end car, which it costs millions, if not trillions. You know what I'm saying? And it's a grind fest. How's that fun? How's that fun? You know what it is? It's because they want you to pay for microtransactions. And that's the fucking problem with these games. That some of these games are either too grindy or it's just not enough fun to justify it to be like, oh, I'm enjoying myself. I'm having a great time. Forza Horizon 5, I can sit here and pay $70 for that because I'm going to have me a good time. It's a fun game. It's an open environment. I do and pick the cars that I want. I can change certain things if I need to, and I'm balancing it. That's the way how I want to play. And that's going to be worth my time. And even, let's say, for even another example, let's say even Sony was to release like the biggest blockbuster game, right? Let's say it was the next God of War game. Like, this is the next God of War. We're dealing with Atreus. Kratos is not in the picture this time around. Atreus is more older. He got a different weapon now. He got like somewhat similar to his father's weapons, but it's his own personal shit. Let's just say if it was that great God of War game, right? That was the next big blockbuster game. And then, Microsoft has their blockbuster. And let's say, GTA 6 came out in that same year, right? But it's way later, like it's like way later, like November, whatever. You think people are gonna be like wasting their money buying God of War over Grand Theft Auto 6? If Grand Theft Auto 6 costed like $80, I'm pretty sure anybody will be more than glad to pay $80 for that. Because at the end of the day, Grand Theft Auto 6, the next generation of that, you can do whatever the fuck you want to do. You can rob cars, you can steal this, you can do shit, you can shoot. You have freedom. There's nothing that's holding you back. There's activities and other stuff you want to do and explore that you can do. They're not just adding in a photo mode. They're adding in a video editor mode. They put that in GTA 5. They probably most likely going to put it in GTA 6. I'd like to see that. Great. Like people was using it, and people was using, Snapmatic, photo mode. People was creating tracks, creating jobs. Like it's going to be putting that in GTA 6. They're going to put that online. Like, why would they want to take that away, knowing that that's where they got them that successful, and that's what got these people to keep on playing the game, because they got so many things you can do in that game, and it wasn't limiting, and it cost $80. That's something worth my money and time, versus, oh, here's the next God of War game. Here's, these 3 modes, and then after you done with this mode, you unlock this mode, and then you have a speedrun mode, and that's it. That's basically it. That's it. So you're gonna play the game on the hardest difficulty, then you're gonna play the game again on the hardest difficulty, and then After that, you got a speed run mode, whatever, and you got a photo mode, and that's it. Here, pay me $80. You think people are going to be paying for that? They're going to be like, hell fucking no. It's not going to be worth my time, because by the time you've done with the game the first time around, you most likely don't want to go back for the second time around. Some people be like, I don't want to go back and play it again. You know what I'm saying? They're more likely to play a game again if we was talking about, like, again, GTA 6. They'll most likely will replay that game again in a different way, or changing stuff differently. It's not a straight path. They want to see if maybe they could take a shortcut here, or maybe they could do this here. You probably will get more replay value out of GTA 6 story game than you would even in the next God of War game. Like, I'm just throwing it out there. That's why a lot of people are not paying for these $70 games. They don't have value, and that's the problem. And the lack of variety of games, that if GT7 were to have a open world racing game, that will sell 2 times more than GT7 alone. GT7 or Gran Turismo 7, like, if they made an open world one, that will sell twice as more, if not 3 times as more, than you would even sell in GT7. And that's why Xbox is smart and say, hey, why not just do both? Why not just make an open world racing game, and we can make a track base, all using it in the same fucking engine. So whatever engine they're going to use for Playground using this, guess what? The other studio, Turn 10, is going to use a better engine than that, or the next generation engine. They're going to develop that and say, here's the next motorsport game. Boom. And then when they go back to Forza Horizon 6 or whatever, they're going to take that engine that they used previously. They're going to make it a little bit better. They're going to do a little this. They're going to put a different environment. Boom. You know what I'm saying? They're one-upping each other in terms of the quality and the gameplay. They have 2 different games that, if you don't want to play a track base, you got an open world game. If you don't want to play the open world game and you're more serious about track-based racing, they got that for you. You're playing both sides. And that's the problem with Sony, some of their games. They're not playing on that both sides. It's just the lack of value, the lack of modes, the lack of IPs. We don't got first-person shooters on there. That's another fucking issue, right? And also the lack of no first-person RPG games. So they're in a rough spot. I'll tell you that much. There really is in a rough spot. And even their PlayStation VR2 is, not selling not selling where they should be selling. Going back to, again, it's the games as well. And it's not the lack of variety of games, it's the games that they have right now that are not trying to push that next generation VR2. Like, if you're going to go from VR1 and you're not going to make those VR1 games backwards compatible to the PlayStation VR2, then you better have some games on there that's going to really blow our minds and really say, okay, this is worth my money to go out and get me a PlayStation VR2. Because I guarantee you right now, a lot of people are just straight capping for that. And say, oh, there's some good games on there. I mean, look, the tech is good, right? The quality of the headset and the headset itself and what it looks like and the specs wise, that all day is magnificent. It's great. That right there, I got nothing bad to say about that. It's the games that's the problem, because it's not moving the needle forward into, like, oh, is it worth going out and paying for $550? And then on top of that, it's stuck and tied to a console. You're not getting backwards compatibility from your original library from the PlayStation 4 VR, right? If you bought those games, it's not going to be compatible for the VR2. So you're basically stuck to buy a whole new $70 game in VR. But they don't got no games that's pushing the needle. Like, for example, if they have a game like this, right? This is unrecorded, gameplay trailer, which is, unrecorded. And this is a, early look at it. But let me just put it up widescreen. But if this game was an exclusive VR2, like exclusive, if this was a VR headset exclusive for the PlayStation VR2, this is something that people will be like, yeah, I want to play something like this. This is something that is this game worth my money and time. This is a game where it doesn't have floating hands. I got full body. It looks, and the graphically looks realistic. Like it looks like realistic graphics. Like holy shit. This is something that a lot of people is sitting there. It's like, why can't we get this in PlayStation VR2? That's where I'm holding them to that higher standard. Now you understand we need something like this to push VR2 and say, this is worth my time going out there playing this game and getting this game. I want this on PlayStation VR2. Where is this? Right? No floating hands, none of that stuff. Reload and unload. Oh, my God, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous that we go, you're still dealing with floating hands. We're still dealing with cartoonish stuff, like really cartoonish stuff. All that stuff was cool during the first, like, Oculus Quest and the Oculus Quest 2. During that time period was really cool. But then after a while, it was like, it felt like a gimmick. And we wanted to see like more type of realistic graphics and no floating hands. We want to see like more of that, oh man, this is really cool. Like I want to play a game like this. This is like so cool. Even though there might be some gameplay, whatever, but this is something that, oh, this is like, I want to play. I want to go out and get this. I want to support this. We don't get nothing like this yet. And that's the saddest part. And that's why PlayStation VR2 is not selling too well. And the second thing that they fucked up is the fact that they did not make the PlayStation VR2 compatible to PC. I tell you one thing, me, not just me, myself, not just me, but there's many people out there, even on PC right now, or even have a PC and a PlayStation, would love to see the PlayStation VR2 to be PC compatible. That where, hey, if Sony don't got a game on there on the console, I can go on PC and they have games on there that is VR supported, and they support that. I want to play this game and play it on my VR on the PC. Like there's so many great games on the PC right now, and especially in the modding community, that they're not, you know what I'm saying? Like we're not getting that, that delivery, And I'll show you one game, right? I'll show you a different game. Like let's say, whatchamacallit, what's that? VR highway racing. Like this is from, I think it's right from Assetto Corsa, right? Like people are ready for something like this. Like people are just ready for something like this in VR, where it's like they're racing on the highway with their friends, they're speeding through traffic and stuff like that. It looks so cool. Like look at that. That looks fun. That looks fun. That looks fun to play. This is what people want to see in PlayStation VR2. This is what people want to play. And if you don't believe me, I mean, shit, you could even look from the likes to dislikes. Look at this. 5.7K? Bro, like I tell you one thing, if PlayStation announced saying, or like again, one of their studios say, hey, we got this PlayStation VR2 game in the work. It's going to be different from GT7. We're going to put some highway tracks. We're going to make it where you could race with your friends on the highway, and it's going to be a lot of fun. This is stuff that, gamers want to play in their PlayStation VR2 headset. This looks incredible. Looks so good. Look how good this looks. You can't tell me, oh, this game is boring. It's so boring. It's not fun. Like, bro, that is fun and it's fucking cool. But again, we're not getting that on the PlayStation VR2. We're not getting that. So that's another problem. Then we talk about the price hikes, right? We already talked about that. And also Sony has done some bad, like, consumer stuff. Like, again, with the whole, like, the PSN and the PlayStation Plus and the subscription stacking, they blocked that, which is anti-consumer. Xbox, they allowed you to do that. It was okay. You want to stack it up? Go and stack it up. Do it now. Like, take advantage of it. Like, and people took advantage of it. People was happy. Hey, Microsoft, and they're not blocking us from that. Microsoft is not putting the ban hammer for that. Microsoft is not doing this. They said, no, you want to do it and you got it, then go ahead, stack it up. Go ahead, do it. If you want to do that, go and do it. What they let you to take advantage of it. What does Sony do? Sony said, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to block you. We're going to block you from doing this. And it's really, really is sad. Really is sad. And then, again, like I was saying earlier, the lack of PlayStation 5 backwards compatibility, and oh my God, it just like, and this is one of those things right here where I'm very disappointed. And I'm like sitting here, I'm like, if we're talking about the market leader and they're leading PlayStation the way it should be leading towards, and again, just pointing out those things like the lack of variety of games, the lack of modes and, games after that single player experience. You're not getting any multiplayer games, from first party. And we'll get to that. But even the lack of backwards compatibility, knowing that this console is so-called, again, from a lot of these PlayStation pony clowns that sit here claims and saying all these numbers, percentages, this is what Mark Cerny says, this is what Jim Ryan has done, blah blah blah, all this fucking bullshit, and then they say, oh yeah, by the way, we can't do backwards compatibility. What the fuck are you talking about that you cannot do backwards compatibility? And you're sitting here telling everyone that this is the most powerful console, it's the fastest console, and this is where I'm just telling you, like, no matter which side of the coin you pick, whether it's Xbox or even PlayStation, they have both lied and deceived in marketing. And this is exactly why a lot of those people are moving away towards those consoles and jumping on to the PC. And we'll get to that too. And, and they really need to start doing a 180. Because, like, again, as much as, like, these blockbuster cinematic experience, it's all good and gravy, but just pointing out those flaws, what they're doing, is not going to make the PlayStation going to last for a very long time. Quality control and all this management shit, all you want. You can, for whatever. But in terms of lack of variety of games and the lack of fun, and the cost of games are rising up, and the console itself, let me tell you something. They can sell a console all they want, but it's not going to make them it's not going to make them turn on a PlayStation every single day, and then they're going to jump on there and just going to be like, yep, I'm going to buy another $70 PlayStation first party exclusive. They're not going to do that. They're not going to fucking do that. They're going to either wait for a sale, like a deep sale, or they're going to sit there and decide it that with the lack of backwards compatibility from all the PlayStation VR games that you had that can't even be transferred over to the PlayStation VR2, which there's no excuse for that. It should be able to fucking work like There is no excuse for that. That should be as easy to do, but they choose not to, and then you gotta rebuy a whole nother $70 games for PlayStation VR2, plus you gotta buy the fucking headset, which it costs more than the original one. This one costs $550, and of course that's tied into a console. So even if you have a PC, you still gotta buy the console first before you even get this headset, and then you gotta get the games. You're looking about $1,200. At that point, you might as well just use that money to spend. You could spend half of that money on a PC and still get two monitors, your peripherals, and a microphone and a headset with less than $1,000, and it's insane that they're making you charge for all this shit. And then guess what? Next 5 more years, next 5 to 10 more years, here comes the PlayStation 6. Here comes this. Here comes the next powerful blah blah blah. You know, the same bullshit. It's no different from Xbox 2. It's the same bullshit. And this is gonna be better than this. It's gonna be better than that. Here comes the PlayStation VR3. So all your PlayStation VR2 titles ain't gonna work in the PlayStation VR3. Then what? And this is exactly why this is exactly why people are waking up and saying, look, man, I got bills to pay. I got this to do. I got that to do. You know, I love gaming, but I'm not gonna, some people, like some real gamers out there that wants good value out of their games, they're not gonna keep putting up with this fucking bullshit. They're not putting up with this fucking bullshit. They're not gonna keep doing this because it's crazy. Like it really is. You're just respending another $70, and then what? PlayStation VR3 is going to be $80. You're going to keep doing that? You're going to keep letting Sony do that? Come on, man. After a while, enough is enough. Enough is enough. And you still to this day can't even download a PlayStation 3 title. PlayStation 3 lineup is a lot of fun. There's a lot of great games there. There's a lot of first-person shooter games in that one than even PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 5. You have first-party exclusive first-person shooter games on the PlayStation 3 catalog that you can't even get access to. You can't even download it natively to play it on your PlayStation 5. And this is the so-called the most powerful, the most great system that these fucking clowns be, you know, whatever. But again, you got these people out here just kissing ass. Just kissing fucking Jim Ryan's ass and Mark Cerny's ass. And then you letting them get away doing some shit like this. Ain't that some shit? Ain't that a bitch? Ain't that some shit? I know, right? Fucking crazy. And then they so-called claim that they're gamers. They're not fucking gamers. Those motherfuckers are a joke. They're not gamers at all. They're just following the crowd. That's who they are. They just follow the crowd. Whatever the fuck this person says on YouTube, they're just following the crowd. They're just following the clickbaits. They're not real gamers like myself. I left PlayStation completely because when I sat there and said after PlayStation 2 I never went back, I never went back. I don't even have a PlayStation. I don't even have a PSN account. I didn't even made a PSN account. What does that tell you? That tells you that I left completely. I'm not going back. And I'm not planning on it either. No time soon. And I don't, I don't care what PlayStation has to do in bringing games on the PC because I'm not begging for them either. Okay? I'm not begging for it. If they don't want to put it, they don't have to put it. I can care less. I'm not missing out on anything. I'm not missing out on anything. What am I missing? What am I missing? You tell me. What am I missing? I'm not missing anything. It's crazy. It's fucking crazy how they don't even have that, but yet Xbox is doing it. And they're not perfect either. I'm gonna tell you right now, they're not perfect either. But at least they're doing it more better than they are in PlayStation. The PlayStation don't got that shit. And they lock it behind a subscription service. Oh, and by the way, right, let's not forget that if I'm not mistaken, that PlayStation is also doing those 10 live service games that we don't know whether these service games are going to be good or bad. I and guess what? I'm not holding my breath that these games are going to be, oh my god, they're going to be so amazing. I know and it's just a bad move, because a lot of people are sick and tired of these live service games. They really are, because not only just on Xbox side, but the whole live service in general, a lot of people are just sick of it. If they don't have content and it's not even good, they're just not gonna fucking play it. And if it's not fun and it's not enjoyable, they're not fucking doing it. They're not paying a dime. They don't care whether it's free to play or it costs $70. Because if the game doesn't look good and it's not fun and people are just, nope, not doing it, then the service is gonna die and it's gonna be no more. Just like how Drive Club, like I was saying earlier, Drive Club was a new IP. It was started on PlayStation 4 and it died on PlayStation 4. And it's a shame. Real shame. The service, whatever for it, was done. Out of here. All this shit closed down, done. I think they even took Drive Club out the store, if I'm not mistaken. I think the Drive Club game is not even in the store anymore, in the PlayStation Store. I could be wrong about that. Let me know in the comment section down below. I could be wrong about that. But it's crazy that we got these 10 live service games. We don't know whether they're good or not. But it all adds up that, like some of the, like again, just going all the way back, right? Towards that, they're not paying that $70, right? That's where those 10 live services are coming in. And you can see that, like the lack of, again, the PlayStation 2 sales, the lack of games on there, that they're not pushing next generation gaming. They're not pushing for fun. And that's the big issue with PlayStation right now, that they have these great experiences. Those are great experiences. Don't get me wrong. Those are great. But you got to also have some fun games that people want to go on and play online. It's crazy, because like, again, even if you think about it for a minute, from the last generation going into this generation, from the PlayStation 4 to the PlayStation 5, let me ask you something. What game from first party that PlayStation has was worth a damn charging you $10 for online? They basically was charging you $10 online for only third-party games. They wasn't charging you $10 for playing multiplayer games online for first party. They should be providing that for you. They didn't even did that. They don't got no first-person shooters. They got no RPG. Nothing for online. And then on top of that, they don't even have, like most of their first-party games are all single-player cinematic experience. You might have one or two games, but even so, some of those microtransactions from GT7, people was getting angry. People was complaining. People didn't like how they was being charged on there. Because even in GT Sport, you can buy a car for like $5. To get a car in GT7 was almost $20, $20 to $40 a pop. $20 to $40 a pop. Ain't that some shit? For one car. But then when you go on Forza Horizon 5, you want a car pack or whatever, it costs like literally like $6 to $7. $6 to $7. You're getting 6 cars, 7 cars, 8 cars, whatever. And even if you just want one car, it'd be like what, like $2 to $3 for one car. And Forza Horizon, this is exactly what I'm saying. Like, if you make a game fun and enjoyable and put some stuff in there, people, I don't mind paying for that. I don't mind supporting, studios and devs. Like, if you actually put in the fun in the game, people won't mind to support it. But if you're not going to put in the fun, just like how GT7, they didn't put in the fun in GT7, but yet you're charging them an arm and a leg for one fucking vehicle. It was crazy. Like, bro, like, it's not, I'm telling you, those 10 live service games, I'm not holding my breath. Because I know that these 10 live service games are not going to be that good. They're not going to be good at all. Maybe they might get one or two, maybe one or two. And when I say maybe, I mean maybe, but I'm not holding my breath. For real, I'm not. I'm like, bro, this charging PlayStation for $10 for online multiplayer games from third party games that they don't even own. They're charging you $10 to play online, but yet they don't even provide nothing for first party to charge you to play online. But you're gonna sit there and say, oh well, only GT7 and Ghost of Tsushima multiplayer was fucking for free. Why are they charging you for $10 for a multiplayer game that was for free? You don't even have to pay for that. You just, if you got the game, the multiplayer came with it for free, and they're still charging you $10 for it. Free to play games, they were still charging you for $10 for it until they put a stop to that, because it's like, it's a free to play game. Why am I being charged for online multiplayer? And that's another thing why they're leaving to go onto PC. This is exactly why. This is exactly why. And before we get close to those predictions, right? Let's go into that PlayStation Store, right? And this is one of those things where, like, again, like, I had to, make an argument. Well, not argue, but this person made a comment, right? And I was just pointing out some of the things, like what's going on with PlayStation and a more realistic perspective, right? That they got these amazing games, but they're backing themselves up in the corner here. And then when I was telling him about like how a lot of people now, because during this time, right, inflation is going up. Jobs are getting more scarce. We don't know in the future whether or not that our economy is going to be back to normal, right? Housing went up. So there's a lot of shit going on. So a lot of people's money is like super tight. So tight to the fact that, like, again, a lot of people are not just dropping $70. And a lot of people during those pandemics and during those like lockdown and that COVID shit, they really rethought about their money, about how much are they spending their money, where are they wasting their money. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, when they was locked up in the house, they really thought and had a lot of time to think about what to do, what they're trying to do, where they're trying to go next. And again, it comes down to that money. And then this is like tight. It's tight out here. For real. It's even tight for me. So, I'm not dropping like, I'm not running out here just paying for $70 games. I'm not doing it. And then somebody told me that, oh, well, there's no, look, even I got a person at a job right now that I'm working that he's thinking about getting a PC. I got another friend at my other job. He's already thinking about getting a Steam Deck or getting a laptop to buy some of these games on the PC platform on Steam because it's cheaper. It is cheaper to buy. It is easy to play. They're thinking about doing that. They're thinking about moving away from consoles. We're talking about like the older demographic. If you're a young kid right now and you're young and whatever, you want to stick to console, that's your business. But in reality, realistically, when you get older and you start paying more and more of these bills, you want a car, you want your own apartment, you want this. It costs a lot more money now than it was even a few years ago. A few years ago, 2019, 18, 17 wasn't shit. Now this is like, we're talking about $1,000 to $1,200 for just even a studio apartment or just even a one bedroom. I remember one bedrooms used to be just about like $700-800, almost close to $900. Now they went up to $1,200-300 for just one bedroom. A 2-bedroom apartment is like up almost $1,500. It's crazy. Shit went up. So if you're thinking about like, it's nothing to you. Yeah, it's nothing to you because you don't have responsibilities. You ain't doing shit. But for a lot of other people like me and everybody else from the older demographic of gamers, like myself, we got responsibilities. We got other shit that we got to do. So we like to enjoy games and play games, right? We want to keep playing games, But now we're looking at value now. Now we're looking at where should I be spending my money at, and where should I be saving my money and to enjoy games. Do I have to go on PC? Maybe it's time to move on to PC. Maybe I need to start investing in it, because then that way I don't have to be waiting for a patch, or I gotta wait for backwards compatibility, or I gotta wait for whatever. That if I go on a PC, I can get emulation for free. I'm not being charged for $10 to play online multiplayer games. I got Game Pass on there. I got Steam sales. Okay, and this is one of those perfect examples. Like, take a look at this example. We got Mass Effect right here, right? Now, it's not on the deals list today, right? But I want you to look at this for a minute and look at the price for this. It's about $60, right? For Mass Effect right now. To get this game is about $60. It's included with EA Play. So if you got EA Play, you could do it. But here, let me tell you why that a lot of people are sitting there saying, why am I being overcharged for shit like this? While Steam, they keep on getting a sale every single week. And every single week is always going to be a different sale, a better sale, or this sale. But you still cannot beat the PlayStation storefront, and even for the Xbox storefront too. So I'm not just saying, oh, it's just Sony, it's just a Sony thing. It's both. It's both sides of this coin. It's both between Sony and PlayStation. But we're focusing on Sony today because of their PlayStation Showcase. So here's Mass Effect. That costs that much, right? And this is exactly why they're moving away. Look at the EA publisher sale. They got amazing deals and great bundles. They definitely do have a great bundle. I'll tell you that much, right? If we go on here, right, and we click on the same one, right, that's $14.99. But get this, that's $15 versus paying full price. But that's not the kicker part. That's not the kicker. Here's the kicker part. If you click on it, and then you scroll down here, and then it says right here, buy the BioWare Mega Collection. And look at that price right there. It's only $20. $20. So what is including in this bundle? So let's look at it. So from $20, right? $20, you're not only getting one game, you're getting 5 games, 5 complete games. You're getting Dragon Age Origins Ultimate Edition, Dragon Age Inquisition. You're getting Mass Effect Andromeda Deluxe Edition. You're getting Mass Effect Legendary Edition, the one that we just seen on PlayStation Store. And you're getting Dragon Age 2 Ultimate Edition. And a grand total of fucking $20. $20, 1973. Basically rounded up, it's about $20. You're paying $20 for 5 complete fucking games than you would even paying for one on here on the PlayStation Store. This is exactly why a lot of these people and these gamers and these longtime gamers that have been on a console for many whatever, now money is getting tight now, and they can't keep running out and buying these $70 games because of these price hikes, right? $70 games, right? Like, we're seeing it. It's true. So we're at a PlayStation Store right here, and you're getting this game. You're buying this for like $20. It's on sale right now, and this sale might be gone next week. This might be the last week, whatever. So if you haven't gotten it, this is the time to pick it up now. For me, I don't care because I'm not a Mass Effect fan or a Dragon Age fan, so I don't really care. But if you do and something you're interested in, this is why they want to leave out of that fucking bullshit. This is why they want to leave. This is what I did. Another example was the Batman collection. The Batman collection, I got all 3 games of these Batmans for like $10. $10. The retail price right now, because it's not on sale, right? See, buy the Batman Arkham collection. And I got all of these games Not even for this price, not even for like, this is just tells you like it saves you $20. But the price right now is $60. So that's basically $20 a piece. I brought this on sale for the Batman collection for only $10 fucking dollars. $10. I'm getting the Game of the Year edition for this game, that game, this DLC, and the DLC for this, all three of these for only $10. I picked it up on sale and I scooped it up for $10. Where are you going to get that on PlayStation? Where are you going to get that on the Xbox store? You can't get that shit on the Xbox store. That's the whole fucking point. You just can't get that shit. And I'll throw out one more example. One more, just for extra measure. Just thinking like, oh, I'm crazy or whatever, right? Let's go on deals, right? We got on deals. And let's see. Let's pick us a game that we know like is on Steam 2 on sale, right? Which we know Far Cry 6, right? But let's see. Oh, here it is. How about that Mortal Kombat game, right? That Mortal Kombat game, whatever. Yeah. So let's do like this. Let's put the Mortal Kombat. I'll put it in the search one. So let's look at that Mortal Kombat game, right? So this is on sale right now, which is matched the same price as Steam. But then the XL is still an original price, right? But hear me out on this. Hear me out on this. We're going on here, right? Let's put in Mortal Kombat, right? Because I've seen it on sale. We're going to match the same price. But guess what? If you want Mortal Kombat Ultimate, look. You can get Mortal Kombat 11 and X for only $10. $10. And guess what they're charging you on here? So if you want this plus this or Mortal Kombat X, it's about $25. $25. And they let you charge this at a bundle for only $10. And on top of that too, if you don't even want Mortal Kombat X, but if you want Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate Edition, the Ultimate, and the Injustice 2 Legendary Edition bundle, it's only $10. $10 fucking dollars for both of these games. So if you want both of them, all of this right here, usually it'll be what? This, whatever. You saving $119. It used to be whatever. And this only costs you $10 fucking dollars. You could pick up the whole thing plus the DLC, Mortal Kombat 11, because the next Mortal Kombat 1 game is about to be coming out in the next few months. And if you haven't played Injustice, this is the original price for like whatever, $49.99. This is not even crossed off. But yet you're getting both of these bundle packs for only $10 fucking dollars. 10. That's including this game and what are we talking about here? Where are we going to get that on PlayStation? Where are we getting that bundle on PlayStation? Show me where we're going to get that bundle on here. Show me where are we going to get that bundle? I don't even see it. I don't even see it. What are we talking about here? It's crazy. It's crazy how that you're getting better deals and a better sale in gaming on the PC than you would be on the PlayStation Store or even on the Xbox Store or on the Windows Store. It doesn't matter. It's just you're getting a better sale. What are we talking about here? What are we doing? It's just like, again, this is where I'm like, this is like, again, I hold PlayStation to a higher standards. And if they don't deliver, I'm just like, yeah, I'm not buying their games. I'm not doing it. Because if they don't deliver, I'm not doing it. It's ridiculous. But anyway, let's move on to the predictions, right? Which we have the 14 PlayStation Showcase prediction, but most likely to be true. which they have an article for it, which we can go down the list. We can, like, look, I'll tell you like this. I hope and I pray that we're getting new IPs for the PlayStation 5 only, no cross generation. I think they need to start leaving the PlayStation 4 behind, and it's time to move on to the PlayStation 5. And hopefully we getting new IPs on the PlayStation 5 platform. That's what I'm hoping for this showcase. They need to really wow me and knock me off my feet. Like they gotta give me something. But for right now, for what I'm seeing, it's like it's not hitting it for me. PlayStation 5 Pro, maybe, but again, knowing that the VR2 is not selling well, and then, you know, people are buying PlayStation 5s, but again, going back to that article, not a lot of people are buying $70 games on their day one. So I guarantee you a lot of people are just waiting for sales, or people that's already having a PlayStation 5, they already trying to move over to a PC and try to scoop up those sales, scooping up, you know, paying for like fully fledged games for less money and the DLC with it for only $10. Can't beat that. You can't beat that on a PlayStation 5, I'll tell you that much. So hardware wise, I hope not. I really hope not. No hardware. I hope that's not true. I don't want to say a PlayStation 5 Pro. It's only been, they had 2 years of a drought for the PlayStation 5, the regular console. Now we're getting more available PlayStation 5, and then you're going to announce on top of the PlayStation 5 Pro, and then on top of your VR. I will hold. I wouldn't be surprised that I don't think the PlayStation 5 Pro is getting a release date or whatever, because then it's just a slap in the face for a lot of those people that probably already brought a PlayStation 5 from that 2-year drought, from those 2-year drought before. It was so hard to get a PlayStation. Now when they brought the PlayStation, then they announced the PlayStation 5 Pro, a lot of people are going to be pissed the fuck off, because then they got to sell it. They're not going to get all of their money back. Or if they just brought it and they announce a Pro version, they probably going to return that shit right back to the store with the receipt and then put that money towards the PlayStation 5 Pro. That's what they're going to do. But if not, man, they're going to be pissed off. I think it's best that Sony don't release the PlayStation 5 Pro. They should release it like in 2025 rather than trying to announce it and release it by next year. Wait for 2025 for that. That's what they should do. Stellar Blade looks cool. Upcoming PlayStation 5 game. I seen it. Looks cool. I don't know what the game is about, but I think from what I can see this game and the trailer and stuff, I think, again, this is a safe bet. I'm pretty sure it's going to be there, but at least this game looks a lot better than Forspoken. I can tell you that much. It's going to look a lot better than Forspoken. Hey, but if you like Forspoken and you play it, you enjoy it, that's cool. Not hating you for that. Okay, because for real, like even for Redfall, I'm still playing Redfall and I'm enjoying it, and so I'll just leave it as that. But Stellar Blade looks like a step up from Forspoken. I think this is much more promising, that they're probably going to get a better cohesive story than Forspoken. You know what I'm saying? And probably the combat is going to be maybe a little bit fun, but it kind of does look a little stiff, to be honest. But I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So that Silent Hill 2 remake, I wouldn't be surprised. That's going to be there. That's a safe bet. But it's also going to be on PC too, so I'm going to play it on PC whenever it do come out. But that is a solid choice. I mean, Silent Hill 2 be there on the thing. Death Stranding 2, I don't think so. I think Death Stranding still got a long way of cooking in the oven. So I don't think Kojima is done with Death Stranding 2. I mean, if he did, I think we would have seen a lot more hints and teaser trailers and stuff. Like, it's getting close to that release. Like, it's about to be done. I think it still need more cooking in the next like year and a half from now. So I don't know why it's gonna be there, but I don't think it's gonna be there. I think maybe for next year, Death Stranding 2 will be there on that showcase, but I don't think it's not this year. A new game from developers of Austin Playroom. Uh, okay, I'll give you that one. That one, I really don't care about this game. I can care less. But if it is a new game and it's something, whatever, it's not Astrobot related, then okay. I could see that. Boulder Gate 3. All right, yeah, we'll see. I really don't care about Boulder Gate 3. That's not my thing. And then the other thing is Ghost of Tsushima 2. I don't know. I mean, they released the director's cut. I I don't maybe I will say maybe on that. I don't think we're gonna see that in the showcase. I don't think so. I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but then again, I do appreciate Ghost of Tsushima. Maybe it might be there, and maybe we might get a PC release. That's probably might be maybe released maybe next year or this coming year for Ghost of Tsushima director's cut for the PC. We might get to see that, but I'm not holding my breath. But I'm more interested in this game out of any PlayStation lineup that they have. I like to see Ghost of Tsushima. I would like to play the first one. So for that, I I will be shocked that if it's going to be there and announced. But then again, they could also announce Ghost of Tsushima on coming onto the PC anyway. So we'll see. We'll wait and see what's going to happen with that. Castlevania, not holding my breath. Again, hopefully it's not an in-house studio from Konami. Hopefully this is going to be an outside studio doing Castlevania. Because their in-house studio sucks ass. And trust me, I wouldn't want them to do a remake inside studio. But Castlevania for me, I'm not all that interested in that, so I can care less. I'm not a Castlevania type of person, whatever. If this was the Order of 1886, I would have said, hell yes, sign me up. Let's go. I'm ready for that. I'm ready for something new to tell me. But okay, so Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I think no. This is not gonna definitely not be there. It's gonna be most likely be Final Fantasy 16 is gonna be at that showcase. With the release date and stuff like that over Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth. We might get to see something for the Rebirth, but we're not gonna get a release date for it. I think it's still a little bit still cooking in the oven. They're still cooking that in the oven. Metal Gear Solid 3 remake or release date. We're not going to get a release date for it. We might get a trailer, but I don't know why would you do Metal Gear Solid 3 remake if you should be remaking the first one. That makes sense. Remake the first one, the second one, then the third one. I don't know why they go straight to the third one. That doesn't make any sense. And Kojima is not in charge of this remake. So again, it gets me a little bit worrisome. But if the remake is being done by Bluepoint, which is a solid choice, I think they'll nail the remake. If Bluepoint is taking over and they're doing it, great. I think I'm more than happy for that. But then again, Bluepoint might release something like, something new, which I do want to see. We might get to see that at the showcase at the very end. But if the Metal Gear Solid 3 remake is being done by Bluepoint, I'd be more happier. From any other studio, I might be like 50-50, not too sure if it's going to be successful or not. But if it's being done by Bluepoint, I think we're going to be A-okay. Mortal Kombat 12, that's a safe bet because they already released the Mortal Kombat trailer already. So we already know it's Mortal Kombat 1, not 12. And on top of that, we still need to see gameplay of it, so most likely it's going to be at the showcase, so that is a safe bet for that. Marvel's Wolverine, we're probably most likely not going to see the Marvel Wolverine. As sad as for me to say it, because again, Spider-Man is just Spider-Man. Spider-Man is over redundant for me. I trust me, look, I have seen Spider-Man. I played the Spider-Man games a long time ago on the Activision titles, and I have watched the movies from the first Spider-Man movie to the second to the third one. So for me, I'm Spider-Man done. I don't care about Spider-Man. I can care less. If you care about Spider-Man 2, this is something new for you. I think this is gonna be great for y'all. You're gonna have a blast with Spider-Man. If you play the first Spider-Man game, you're gonna be more Spider-Man coming. Cool. Like no problem. The game is gonna be great. But again, for me as a older demographic, I play Spider-Man back way back on PlayStation 2. I played the Xbox versions of it and stuff. I know about Spider-Man enough. I seen the movies. I had a few action figures. I'm Spider-Man done. I'm done with Spider-Man. I don't care about Spider-Man anymore. I'm just done. I'm ready for them and that studio to move on to something else. I will like to see the next Wolverine game, and I will like to see a more mature Wolverine. I don't want to see the teen for teenager of Spider-Man. I am sick of it. No, I don't want that. I don't want to play a rated T for teenager Spider-Man game. I want to play a really good rated M for mature Marvel Wolverine character that's going to tear stuff up. We get to see blood, we get to see gore, hopefully it's going to be a bigger threat that is more threatening than you would in any of those Spider-Man superhero villains. I don't find them to be threatening. I don't find them to be like, oh my god, this is like, it's just like I've seen it all before. I'm done. I don't want to see that. I'm more interested in Wolverine. Maybe this might can tie in that after this game, they might can do an X-Men game. Oh, I would love to see an X-Men. Like an X-Men like with Wolverine, Storm, Ace, the mutants. That would be fucking cool. If they can do this one right, please, let's do that. Let's do that. Marvel Spider-Man 2, we already talked about that. Final Fantasy 16 most likely will be there for sure. So yeah, those are mines right there because these are some of the rumor stuff. And here's some of the studios that we have right here, like Guerrilla Games, Bolivia Digital, Blue Point, So I don't know, man. I hope that we get to see something from Guerrilla Games, but I don't want another Horizon series. I want them to do something else. I would like to see the Killzone come back or Resistance. I can only dream. But that's something that's going to knock a lot of people's socks off. What really gonna knock people's socks off? If Guerrilla Games gave the rights to the whatchamacallit, because Sony has purchased Bungie, right? They own Bungie, so I'm surprised it's not even on the list on here, which they don't even have Bungie on here, but they should be having Bungie. But if Guerrilla Games, if Sony and Jim Ryan got together, call up Guerrilla Games, tell them like, hey, if you got the rights for Resistance and Killzone, give that to give that to Bungie and let them start developing a single player and a multiplayer game for one of those, whether it's Killzone or Resistance, like a whole new reboot, a whole new storytelling. They don't have to do the same thing how they did back on the PlayStation 3. That's going to knock people's socks off because it's going to be finally a first-person shooter game that has a single-player component and a multiplayer component that's going to be good and is going to be well done by Bungie, because Bungie are well known that did the Halo franchise. Why not? Like, that's going to knock a lot of people's socks off. That's how you're going to get people like, oh, yo, I got to get me this PlayStation 5 now. Because Bungie is going to do either the Killzone franchise or they're going to do the Resistance franchise, and it's going to be a reboot, a re-storytelling, and they're going to do it so well. I will love to see that to happen. I can only dream. I can only dream. I'm hoping for that. I am really am hoping for that. Another thing too, if Blue Point Game is going to do a remake, please, for the love of God, I can only dream for this. I can only dream, but please do the Getaway remake. Please do that. Like, that's something that I will love to see. That's something right there. That game made me sat there and said, after this PlayStation 2, I said, yo, I want to get the next PlayStation, but once they close down that studio, the people that made the Getaway, that was a true competitor to GTA, like a real competitor to GTA and Rockstar Games, and they closed that studio down. I was so sad. Oh my God, my heart was broken. Broken. I said, I will never go. I can't go back to PlayStation now. Oh my God. But if they can remake the Getaway, like how they did the remake for the Mafia trilogy edition, if they could do that, oh, oh my God, yo, that right there, the whole room will be speechless. I can just already see it. Everybody will be so speechless because then it'll be like, oh my God, it's finally happening. Like we're finally getting the Getaway remake that should have been done years ago, and they could finally get back on track. Like the games that should be there on the PlayStation category, like that are missing. First person shooter games are missing. We need Killzone and or Resistant or even both to be remade, put it back on the PlayStation. They need that the most. And the second and the third thing, that's something right there. Blue Point takes over and do a fully blown remake from the ground up of the Getaway. Bro, that is going to leave the whole fucking shit speechless. Like, holy shit. Yes. Yes. Because that's a true competitor to Grand Theft Auto. I can only dream, but if that was the case, it'd be done. Now, Polyphony Studio is probably not going to be there, but again, hopefully in the next like showcase or whatever in the future, they need to start making a different racing game, whether it's an open world racing game. Like, they need it. I don't want another GT8, GT9. I like to see them to start making a open world racing game, which I know that studio is more than capable of doing. I wish they was doing that. I don't think, like, again, I know they're not going to be there at this showcase, but I'm just telling you guys, like, if they did that, that would be another big thing. That would be huge, that they finally taking the steps like, hey, I know we making track-based games for a long time, but we decided to do something different, and it's going to be less development time to do this type of game before they start developing their next GT8, which from GT6 to GT8, the mainline series, almost took 10 years, 10 decades. And I don't want no spin-off sub-series like GT Sport. I don't want that. I want a fully fledged open world racing game made by them, which they are more than capable of doing. And on top of that, to put in like at least half the cars. You don't have to put all of the cars. Half the cars, put in the customization that you already put in GT7, port that shit right over, and sell. It will blow up so fast that that's going to be some competition there for Forza Horizon 5. It's going to give that competition there, because right now they're getting their ass kicked by Forza Horizon 5 and their next motorsport game. They're getting digital, whatever. They're getting their ass kicked. They're getting their ass kicked, and they need to start competing, because that whole track-based bullshit from GT7 is not enough. So they're going to have to step up and do something different, make an open world racing game. It's about time that they should be doing it, and I know they're more capable of doing it. I don't know what they're waiting for, but they're getting their ass kicked because nobody ain't talking about really GT7. I haven't even heard a peep or a wink on fucking YouTube about GT anything. I haven't heard anything like, so I already know that their updates and their whatever shit, it's not flying with people, and people got bored of it. People got off of that shit, and nobody ain't playing that game. So they need to start rekindling that by doing something different. I will hope so, because I like again I need we need they need new IPs. They need different variety of games. You cannot stick to the same blockbuster cinematic experience. That ain't gonna fly, because like again, you want people to spend $70, you got to make it worth their money, and it's got to be fun. It's got to be worth their money and time, because if it's not, they're not fucking doing it. I'll tell you that much. They're not fucking doing it. So, it's not a game with Spider-Man. We know about the Wolverine stuff. Ben Studio, we might get to see something. I don't know what they got cooking, but if it's something good, then hey, whatever is cooking is cooking. And we know Sony Santa Monica, they released the God of War series. So we're not going to see them at all. We're probably not going to even see their next project. What else? Sucker Punch, there might be, whatever. We'll wait and see. Nix's, we know that's like Haven Studios. I don't know what this is. So again, like that's how far I know about PlayStation as far as in terms of games. I can't really guess anything else. But again, those three games, it's like I can only dream. I don't like again, we don't know whether or not what kind of surprises they're gonna bring to the table. But that's how far I can really tell you, like, there might be some games that's gonna be there, and there might be some games that are not. I'm pretty sure I know for a fact that we are definitely going to get some type of PlayStation 10 live service games. We might be getting that Twisted Metal revealed live service game that they was talking about and cooking. We might see a new project from the developers from Days Gone. So I don't know, like, but we're definitely going to see one or two live service games for sure, because again they're backed up in the corner, and I know they want to sit there and say, hey, these whatever, but again, man, they're pretty much stuck between a rock and a hard place. Definitely this year on forward, for the next couple of years, not knowing what's going to be going on out here, like in terms of like pricing and fluctuation and price hikes, and gas prices might go up, and it's a lot of crazy stuff. So if you want these people and these casual people want to play these PlayStation first party titles, they got to make it fun. They got to have some more variety in their games, and they got to start having these studios to do something a little bit different with their IPs. Like again, taking GT7 and turning it into an open world game. They already have the blueprints for it for GT7. All they got to do is just make the open world like game itself and that open world environment, and put a few races here and there. I think that game will be great, and it's just gonna give these players a fresh, something new, something fresh, something that they can enjoy, and something that they can really like, do something a little bit more different. And they still got this amazing customization, way better than even Forza Horizon 5, but they're trapped in those single player tracks and simple tracks and shit. It's time to upgrade. It's time to see them do something different with their IPs. Like again, they got the blueprint laid out. They got the core fundamental stuff. They just need to make an open world design. And like again, variety of games. They need some first person shooter games in the first party lineup. They're lacking in it, especially from last generation. They was lacking. They're lacking in this generation, because we're not talking about third party deals. I can care less about that. All I care about is first party studio titles and first party games. And what are you doing something new? I don't want a third person generic same old action adventure game Like we see, like again, I don't want no rehash in this showcase. No rehash, please. And when I say rehash, I don't mean like, oh, Ghost of Tsushima and Ghost of Tsushima 2. That's okay. That's fine. But rehash will be like, oh, here's Uncharted 5. Nobody, I don't want to fucking hear about Uncharted at all. Uncharted is done. Leave that shit alone. No more Uncharted games. No Uncharted 5. That's just a rehash. You're just taking a game and then you just rehashing the same bullshit from the last couple of games. What are you going to put this time? What, new mechanics like, oh, he can paraglide now? Drake can paraglide. Like, no, come on now. And I don't care if it was a cinematic experience, whatever. Just people are just done with that. The next Uncharted game, the next this. Get these motherfucking IPs a break. I want them to do something a little bit more different, something new to get into that PlayStation 5 ecosystem, because right now it just feels lackluster to say it at best. It's lackluster. It's just not fun. Either the games are not fun or they're just the lack of creativity. Like they're not doing anything different with their IPs to make it more valuable or more unique to pay for that $70, to play online, to whatever, to invest in the PlayStation ecosystem. So they're gonna really have to like knock this shit out the park, because I don't want to hear no rehash bullshit. I want to see new IPs, new things that are different, variety of games. They need some first person shooter games. They need some first person RPG games. They need that, because like, again, how you going to compete with your competitor while your competitor is just killing it? They're killing it. They don't got third person games. They got first person shooters. They got first person RPG. They got third person RPG games. They got an open world racing game, and they got a track based game. How can you beat that? You're getting better value out of Xbox ecosystem than you would even on PlayStation, because they can't even compete on that. They don't even got any of that. So they need to start doing that shit. Or else a lot of those people are just going to move right the fuck along and say, you know what? Maybe getting a PlayStation 5 and getting this VR bullshit is just not worth it. I'm just going to go and get me a PC that if I was willing to pay for a PlayStation VR and a PC, I might as well just pay for that $1,000 to build me a system with half the price, that's going to give me that 1080p 60, that's going to give me that fidelity that I needed without a performance hit. And on top of that, I can buy both of my screens, my mic, buy my headset, my keyboard and mouse, and my desk, all under for $1,000 fucking. Why would I want to stick with the PlayStation platform, knowing that Steam and some of these storefronts got better sales and they're always be on a sale every week? There's no like, if you upgrade this motherboard, you're gonna lose all your Steam libraries. That's not the case. Or if you upgraded this GPU, then you can't play so and so game on Steam. That's not the case. That's not the fucking case at all. Your Steam games will be there forever. Once you purchase it and you log in, it's there for a lifetime. There is no backwards compatibility. They're charging you $10 to play online. You got that shit for life. So PlayStation gonna have to step up, and not only in terms of just their games alone, but they gotta also win the customer over, saying, no, we got good value here, we got good services here, we're going to do this now. They gotta really step up. They gotta step up their game, because they're not stepping up at all. They're not doing it, and they're not pushing for next generation gaming. You don't need Microsoft to tell you or to whatever to push next generation gaming. PlayStation should know better, because if you're the market leader, PlayStation, you need to start pushing these next generation gaming. People want to see this. People want to see this on their VR headset. They want to play and have fun. Nobody wants to play on a boring ass fucking bullshit. Nobody got time for that. Nobody don't want to deal with that. Okay? People want to play this type of game on their VR headset. They want these type of graphics. They don't want floating arms. They want to see this game to become an exclusively on the PlayStation VR headset. They want to see games looking like this at their best. This is what pushing next generation gaming. This is what PlayStation should be on this type of level. What they should be spending money on. What they should be developing on their PlayStation console. This is games that they want to see. And if you're not delivering on this, trust me, nobody ain't paying no damn $70. If you ain't delivering on this level, then nobody ain't playing your fucking garbage ass bullshit. But that's just my opinion. But I tell you one thing for sure, I'm not alone. I'm not alone on this one. I'm really not. So they need to step up their game, because if they're not stepping it up, then guess what? It's going to be a whole nother year for me that I don't need to run out and get me a console. I don't need a PlayStation console. I don't need it. Just like how Xbox did. Xbox showed me that I don't need to go out and run and buy an Xbox console. If I'm ready to move on and go on PC, I can do that, and I can still play their Xbox game. Thank you. Thank you, because I'm growing up and I don't want to play on a console anymore. I'm a grown up now, and I want games to be at this price point. You know what I'm saying? I'm willing to pay for something like this, only $10. That's something for me. That's a good value. I'm getting 2 different games. It's on sale, and it's a bundle, and it's only $10. This is something that people want to pay for. People don't want to pay for $70 fucking dollars. That's not worth their fucking time. And don't get it twisted. Don't get me wrong. I paid for some of these games on here that was $70, right? I could tell you one game, what looks like Metroid Exodus. I paid that game for $70, and I paid for the DLC. I have no qualms with that. But that's my game that I worth my time that I play for. And I love it. But at the same time, I'm not running out on here and just spending $70 for each of these fucking games. I'm not doing it. I'm not fucking doing it. So you better fucking wow me. You hear that, PlayStation? You hear that? You gotta wow me. You gotta wow me. You gotta bring it. You gotta bring it this year. This showcase, you gotta bring it. No half-ass bullshit. None of that shit. I want new IPs, different variety of games, and focusing on first-party exclusive. Fuck your third-party bullshit, because you don't even own the IP. You just pay for the marketing rights, and you just pay for the exclusive. That's third-party shit. I want to know what first-party is doing. What is your live services going to be like? Is it going to be good, or is it going to be dog water? Like, that's what people want to know. That's what people want to sit there and see. If this is going to be worth my time playing on a PlayStation 5 this coming year and the next year after that. It better not be dog water from the past 2 years, because the past 2 years of their PlayStation showcase was fucking dog water. It was fucking dog water. And I hope to God that this PlayStation showcase is not dog water. And they said it's going to be a little bit over an hour long. So that scares me a little bit. That scares me, because now it makes me seem like they may not have enough games, or they're going to spend too much time on that PlayStation VR2 bullshit, which I don't give a fuck about. I don't give a fuck about, unless like you're pushing next generation gaming. Because if you're not pushing next generation gaming on that VR headset, and it's not fun and it's not enjoyable, count me out. I'm not fucking dealing with it. And if you're not focusing on your first party studio titles, and you're not showing me something that's going to wow me off my feet, this is just going to be another dog water fucking PlayStation showcase yet again. And and I tell you one thing, it's not just me, but a lot of these PlayStation fans, those fake little ponies, they're just desperate, super desperate, super dry like a Sierra fucking desert, waiting for anything fucking new, because they're just telling me the same old bullshit. Final Fantasy 16 remake. I don't give a fuck about that shit. I don't give a fuck about that shit. What does Final Fantasy 16 got to do with me? What's the fun in Final Fantasy 16 anyway? It's just another Final Fantasy game. It's just like that. Final Fantasy 17 is going to just be another Final Fantasy game. It's just with a different environment, different bullshit. It's the same bullshit. I don't give a fuck about Final Fantasy. I need to know what new IPs and what kind of games are you going to do something different. That's what I want to know. Are you going to try to do some first person shooter games? Are you going to try to do something new? Are you going to try to do backwards compatibility? Like, what's going on? Like, are we going to try to do some backwards compatibility or get some emulation for, I don't know, maybe the PlayStation 3 titles to be able to download it onto the PlayStation 5 console? It's the most powerful system in the world, and we still don't even got that. Trust me, they got a lot of shit. They got a lot of problems. Their games and shit, oh, their quality, whatever, and all these motherfuckers is just kissing ass and following everybody else. But for me, when it comes down to Sony, I don't play around with Sony. They're not gonna get an easy pass. And I hold Sony fucking accountable, and I hold them to a higher standards. So they better fucking deliver. Because if they don't, be expecting me, I'm not gonna be paying your $70 dog water fucking live service bullshit, charging me for $10 for this garbage. No thank you. No thank you. I'll be on the PC where I'm not being charged for $10 fucking for some dog water garbage. Just to make sure that's clear. Or your dog water IPs, that's the same bullshit generic shit. I'm not dealing with it. I'm not fucking dealing with it. I don't give a fuck what you have to do. I don't give, and you know what? To even put this, to make this like the realest thing ever, I don't give a fuck if fucking Jim Ryan was to pay all that $5 billion just to have an exclusive for the GTA 6. That's not going to do shit for me. It's not going to do shit. They need new games and new IPs to order for me to give a damn. Because if they don't got nothing new, I don't give a fuck what they do. They can burn in hell for all I care. That's how I feel. They can literally burn in hell for all I care. Cause they don't got nothing there for me to fucking sit there and say, oh yo, I should go out there and get me a PlayStation 5. They got nothing. They got fucking nothing. So they got a lot to work. But anyway, that's it for me. Those are my predictions, and that's my discussion, and that's how I look at PlayStation right now as a whole and the state of it. So let's see what they can do, because I'm gonna tell you like this, it's just their games, it's just whew, man. I'm telling you. I'm fucking telling you. But anyway, let me know in the comment section down below, what are you excited for about this PlayStation Showcase? What are your predictions? And what are you hopes? And what is your dreams of seeing, what you want to see at the PlayStation Showcase? Because, look, man, I got a lot of dreams, man. I got a lot of dreams. I'm hopefully they pull something off, or some type of first-person shooter game, something. They gotta fucking wow me. They cannot pull the same generic, here's this third-person action adventure or this horror game or whatever, and this whatever, and so cinematic. They need to go off the walls, and they need to put the fun back in PlayStation. They need to put their fucking first party IPs, put back the fun inside of PlayStation, because for real, their PlayStation games are like, it's not even fun, and it's not even worth my time playing. Great experience, don't get me wrong, beautiful graphics and shit, cool, but is it worth my money to pay for these $70 games? And what else can I be playing on there once I'm done with the game? Or do you have any modes? Do you have a multiplayer game? Like, hello? You're charging me $10 off. If you're gonna charge me $10 off of this shit, I'm expecting first party is going to deliver on, here's some multiplayer games, here's some first person shooter games. Yes, we are charging you $10. Yeah, $10 that is worth of fun, not $10 that ain't worth, that's like fucking dog shit. Or doesn't have nothing. But anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below, and I'll see you guys on the next live stream. We are definitely going to do a post live stream, like the after post live stream event for myself, because I'm going to watch the showcase from beginning to end. I'm not going to be on YouTube that day on Wednesday around 4 o'clock. I'm not going to be on there at all. I'm not going to look at it. I'm not going to hear anything. I'm going to have everything turned off until I get home. I'm going to watch it for myself from beginning to end live, and I'm going to react to it, and then we'll talk about it after and see if did they succeed, did they not succeed, am I impressed about stuff, am I not. We'll have a really good discussion. It's going to probably be late. I know it's probably going to be around like 1, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, but I still want to do it. So if you want to see that, be sure to subscribe to my channel and stay tuned for that. We're definitely going to be seeing that together. But until then, guys, next time, see you guys on the next one. Peace.